Hello, I'm Chris Williams from Read Comics, They're Bad For You on my YouTube channel, or if you're watching this on my BitChute channel, Comic Freak. Today we're going to be reviewing Spider-Man Life Story, Issue 5. The cover done by Chip Zdarsky is, like the other covers, good, not a great cover. I have to agree with Zach from Comics Matter that they should have done a more conventional comic cover than this sort of pseudo pop art here. I mean, it's good. I just wish it was more of showing what was happening inside the series. A really great action-oriented cover instead of this, but it's good. It shows Spider-Man inside the American flag. In the star on the American flag, which is filling up while he is trying to break out of it. And we move on to the first page where we see Ben Reilly as the Amazing Spider-Man fighting a villain. And he says, never seen someone so mad. Who is he fighting exactly? Well, a rather polarizing villain that became rather infamous during this period in Spider-Man's life. You know, when they introduced the mystical powers, when they were trying to rework Spider-Man's origin to be more of a mystical totem. Morlun, the, second-rate vampire guy. As if Spider-Man didn't have a villain that was already a vampire, notably Mobius. And here we can see Morlun attacking Spider-Man, saying that you're not the original, you're not actually who I'm looking for. Where is he? Did he leave you here as a distraction? With what Morlun was saying, I guess Spider-Man's bid to give Ben Reilly his life is over. Just as Ben Reilly has been killed by Morlun, who just says, I'm forever. Meaning he was talking about how the fact that you die and I will live forever. And this takes place in 2006, which means Spider-Man is 59 years old, living with his family. And I have to say, I'm enjoying the art here. Mark Bagley's art is as on point as ever, though I do think it might be, less good than it was in the last few issues. Here we can see Peter talking with his daughter, Claire, who, if you notice it, is a direct reference to Mayday Parker. I mean, come on, that's May Parker. They just adapted her name to be Claire now. Not bad. But it's good to see that May is back. Or rather, May is now Claire. But we have her back, and she'll most likely become the new Spider-Woman. Peter's son, Benji, tells them to come inside. Something has happened, and they come in to see that Ben Reilly has been killed. And now, Peter says that he knows what happened when they mentioned who killed Ben. That was this vampire guy. And Peter says that he has to prepare. He has to protect his family from Morlun. He has to also protect his company from Stark. Now, his daughter confronts him, saying that they should all go together and try to protect each other, and that he never stopped being a hero. Claire says to her father that she knows about what he did on 9/11 when he was visiting J. Jonah Jameson's funeral. It seems that Jonah died the day the towers fell, and that she says she saw him, or rather pictures of him, lifting up the debris and helping the trapped innocents inside, saving as many people as he could. She says to him, it's stupid for you to go alone. What if he attacks you and kills you? What if other things happen? She could have mentioned that what if he finds them first before he finds Peter? What if Morlun comes after her and her brother and her mother? Now, Peter refuses to take that into account, and he says he's going and that they'll be safe and that he's going to lure Morlun to him and get rid of him. Now, he goes over to see Betty Brant, who's now the head editor of the Daily Bugle. Betty is now happy because she gets to be the one to break the story of how Peter was Spider-Man and how he had replaced himself with Ben Reilly, his clone. He tells her he did this because he wanted Ben Reilly to be Spider-Man and to run Parker Industries and to keep it out of the hands of Stark and other unsavory individuals. She's happy that he's back, but she doesn't know really what his plan is here. He tells her he's going to get his life in order, but he's really going out to lure Morlun out to come after him. And he goes over to Parker Industries where he's visited by Tony Stark, who tells him, "You have to come with me, Peter. And I'm surprised that you actually turned out to be Spider-Man. I always wondered why you were always so fit." Tony Stark then uses and explains that he always had the technology that detects superhumans, and he should have used it on Peter. Now, Tony Stark says Peter should join him, but Peter says, "Drop dead, Tony." He refuses to help Tony Stark because he's against what Tony Stark is doing now. Because in this period in the comic book, the Civil War is going full blown, with Captain America and Tony Stark at war with each other. So Tony Stark calls out his own version of the Avengers to arrest Peter Parker. And who's on the Avengers? Of course, Carl Manvers. Well, we actually have the real She-Hulk instead of that buffed up She-Hulk. And we have Iron Fist and Black Widow and War Machine? Yeah. Who are all wearing variants of Iron Man armor. It is fine and it is good. All I'm unhappy about is I see Carl Manvers again. But at least we get the real She-Hulk back. And she's as hot as ever. Meanwhile, Morlun has tracked down Peter's family, and he's coming after them. Here we can see Claire looking back at Morlun in fear. And he gets ready to kill them so he can use them as a way for himself to lure out Peter, so he can drain Peter of his totem powers. And the artwork here is good. Now, the artwork on the Avengers, I thought the costumes were a bit lame, but the artwork was decent. Here we can see, as I've said before, the costumes, except for Iron Man's, look a bit boring. Now, Mark Bagley designed some really good Spider-Man costumes, but these costumes looks like he just puked them out. Here we have Captain America saving Peter Parker from being arrested. We have Peter visibly, he's scrunching his eyes up and he looks like he's trying to dodge Captain America's shield as Captain America takes out both Iron Man and Black Widow. And here we can see Captain America screaming, "Avengers Assemble!" And his Avengers team is made up of an elderly Hawkeye and an aging Power Man, as well as Cloak and Dagger. That's kind of a random team. I guess they're keeping up with the fact that Power Man joined the Avengers in the aughts, so they're making that part of the lineup as well. I'm kind of sad about that. I was hoping for someone else. But at least we don't see Wolverine here. Here we see Morlun going up against the twins, Claire and Benji Parker, who have inherited their father's powers. And the artwork here, I love this panel. This is just good artwork. Now, you think someone who's going up against two spider people should be intimidated, but Morlun is, of course, indestructible. At least he says that. You'll see later on that he isn't really. Now, the artwork here is great. Of course, Morlun loses when they figure out that he's vulnerable when he feeds. So he feeds off on Benji, and then Claire comes up behind of him using a big old stump of wood and smashes him away. Of course, she basically smashes him into a bunch of broken logs. And of course, the vampire is then staked through the heart. And he dies. And now almost every encounter Morlun has had, he attacks someone and he dies pitifully. Keeping up as usual, even though he's supposed to be as tough as nails. And of course, Spider-Man goes into his office, gets a new costume, and then comes back with a jamming device that takes out all of the Iron Man Avengers. Of course, Tony Stark had basically put a device in their armors that if they turned against him, he could shut them down. And of course, the issue ends with Captain America and Spider-Man telling each other that they need to be better. They need to make the world a better place before they go, because they are old men. And I have to agree with them. This comic was good. Not as good as the other issues, but it was a good issue. Now, if you like this review, subscribe. Make sure you're still subscribed. If you're watching my videos but you have not subscribed to me at Read Comics They're Bad For You, please subscribe to me by hitting that bell and getting notifications for all my videos. Also, subscribe to me at BitChute at Comic Freak. And remember, hit that like button and leave some comments down below. And keep checking back in future videos for more information on my own upcoming independent comic book, Scumdogs. I'm Chris Williams, and I'll be back again tomorrow with another video or review.